Hello, this week's video is part 2 of my 4-part series. Last week in part 1, we looked at the Classic Collection Moleskine notebook, and this week we're taking a look at these. In the past, I've called them the Cahiers Collection, which I know now is incorrect because I misread the cover. It's actually pronounced
Cahiers.
Cahiers. It's the Cahiers Collection, an exercise book or notebook, according to Oxford Languages. These are basically the Moleskine equivalent of a field notes book. If you're new, the way this series works is last week I reviewed a notebook. This week I'm reviewing these notebooks. Next week I'm reviewing the field notes notebooks. And then the following week I'm taking all of them and then pitting them up against each other and seeing side by side which one I think is the best. But with all that said, I'm really looking forward to these. So let's jump right in. So there's 3 of these little guys within this pack. They're all 3 the same. They are lined, ruled, whatever you want to call them. I do know that these came with a couple of different things. The little sleeve jacket. That's what that's called. This one is a ruler. If you remember the last one from last week, it was a little bit different, didn't have a ruler in it, and had a couple different things. 12 inches. Oh wait, no, 11 inches. What the heck? So in case you need to measure something, there you go. You're all set. 3 of these Cahiers Collection comes with this little packet. Again, this is like history of Moleskine. So there's 3 of these. They're all exactly the same. So for this, I'm going to just look at one of them. It's kind of nice off rip. I kind of really dig how the cover is completely blank. So sneak peek. The field notes, see, it's like printed on there. But this we have with the Moleskine, we have the little indentation in the back with the branding. But other than that, I mean, there's nothing. So I really like how clean this looks. And also the covers are really thick and have a lot of structural integrity. Also, there's this little guy in the back, another one of those little pocket folder thingies. Because in the Classic Collection, it's got like a folder, like a little pop-out folder. This is more of a pocket. Technically, other than just the covers and stuff, not much different than the one we talked about last week. How I did this and how I'm going to continue to do this is I'm going to talk about like how it looks, how it feels first, and then I'm going to take a little bit of time, write in the book, get some stuff down, get some writing in, and then we're going to talk about sort of how it feels to actually write in it. Another thing I noticed comparing this to the field notes is that these books, these Cahiers collections, they're actually stitched, and it's like a stitched binding instead of staples. Obviously, I haven't used field notes, so I can't say exactly yet, but I kind of like this better. And also, I have these. These are the dot grids by Lockby, which Lockby was kind enough to send out to me. And they're the same way, where it is stitched as opposed to staple, which is quite awesome. Oh, I just remembered. These are the same size, the Cahiers Collection and the Lockby notebooks, and also the field notes notebooks. They're the same size. So this pocket journal, also from Lockby, it'll fit. It'll be compatible. So that's pretty sweet. Another thing I really dig about this cover is it's kind of like a cardstock, but it's not slick to where I can't draw on it. I can draw on this and customize it. And one of my cons for the Classic Collection from last week was that the covers were so nice and beautiful and perfect that it didn't feel very customizable. I couldn't really connect to the actual thing itself because I felt like I couldn't customize it as much without tearing it up, which again, if I wanted to customize it, I would probably just be willing to do that anyway. But it just felt, I don't know, it felt wrong to customize that book. But this book, I mean, this just screams customization because it's blank. It's that good quality of cover to where I can easily just take colored pencils to it, or I could take pens to it, or I could take something and just customize the heck out of it. And speaking of writing, it's time to hop into the book, get some writing in, and see what I think about how it feels to write in the Moleskine Cahiers Collection. That hurt my finger. So, I've spent a little bit of time, about half an hour, writing in this book, and I thoroughly enjoy it. Hold on, let me go grab Let me go back. I wanted to get this book so I could do some side-by-side comparisons. I mentioned last week how this book, the Classic Collection, is basically perfect for like sitting at a surface writing, because I mean it's got that nice hardcover, it opens nice and flat. I mean there's a lot of great things about it. Now this video isn't directly comparing the two, but they're very similar in a lot of ways, so like I have to use them to compare to a certain degree. It's basically the same paper, I think. Yeah, basically the same paper, a little bit more flexible, so which means this would be better for carrying on the go, making it as your everyday carry, maybe your commonplace book that you just have on you all the time. Lots of different names for that kind of stuff. It's all kind of irrelevant in its own special way because it's just whatever you prefer. But how did it feel to write in this thing? First of all, love the pink covers. Can't get over it. Pink was a perfect color. These feel really good to write in, and I just hate how you can get notebooks like this that are basically the same thing but not quite as good for so much cheaper. Like if the amount of money you save on notebooks makes it worth going down in quality. These are so good. I really, really like these. It's just, God, the 3 of them was like $12, $13. I think, actually, I can actually tell you exactly. So this 3-pack was, yeah, $12.95 US or 14 Canadian. That's for 3. And for 3 of these, it was $1 US, $1. Like, how can you beat that? That's gonna be probably my #1 grief with all of these, is they should be way cheaper. If they were cheaper, I would buy them more often, but I don't, because they're expensive. Everyone's gonna have their own opinions on this. That's okay. That's okay. I just personally feel like with a notebook, with something that's just meant for writing down ideas, you can go cheap. You can go cheap because you can just get more and get more and get more, and it barely make a dent, right? You can just go cheap, especially if you can't really afford a lot of extra in your budget. Cheap is the way to go. These Moleskine books, not for you. You want to go cheap, get the Walmart ones. There's probably something cheaper out there for you, even cheaper than this. So if you are tight on a budget, do not get anything fancy. It's the exact same. One of the things I was not really huge on with that Classic notebook was the customization ability of the cover. These, all I want to do is just draw on the covers. I'm going to be honest with you. That's all I want to do. Now, a thing I like about these books too is that books like this, like the field notes type style, especially regular field notes, only has 48 pages. These books, these Cahiers Collection from Moleskine, these actually have 64 pages, which for something like this, I have not found anything. Obviously, I haven't looked that much, but I haven't found anything with more pages. Because again, this book to me is the gold standard. Because it's got, not only is it small, light, compact, everything. Okay, to me, these are perfect. Believe what you want. It's meant, these things are opinion based. But to me, these are perfect. And the problem with this and field notes and all this other stuff is that they don't have enough pages. These little guys are 160 pages. To be fair, pages are much smaller. You have about a ½ inch. You have more pages, yes, but less space per page. My point is, these Moleskine Cahiers books are good because they have a lot of pages, but they still don't hold a candle to the number of pages that these pen and gear books have. Like, I've yet to find a pocket notebook that has this many pages. Now, of course, you've got these, the Classic notebooks, that I'm not going to go too far down this rabbit hole of comparing this to this to this, because that is meant for week after next. So stay tuned for that video. It's going to be good. Another thing about these that I really like is they're big. Again, I just kind of was comparing this to my. These are bigger, therefore they're a little bit easier for me to put like on my lap if I'm writing on my lap, because you have a little bit more, I don't know, I almost feel like you have more support, whereas this, it doesn't quite mold to my leg as well. So on the go part of the spectrum, I feel like these kind of work better in that they kind of fold and they kind of flap a little bit more than my pen and gear books do. I know I said last week that the Classic hardcover books are really good for writing on a table, but these are too, because you can fold the cover out all the way flat, whereas with this, you know, you get that angle when you open it up, you get that, it's like a ramp going down, and so you sort of have that weird slope when you're writing. But with the Cahiers Collection, it is all flat. Even when you get kind of further into the book, the way it's seamed, it flattens out beautifully. Also, I did a few little drawings in this as well, out of lack of things to write about, and also I wanted to kind of test and see how it fares as a sketchbook. Drew a Golden State logo with Steph Curry's number in it. I also tested out the red pen, which was quite nice. I really like how the red pen shows up on this paper. I wrote this, it's kind of hard to read because it's in red, but I really, really love, with this book and the other Moleskine, the pages are not blue. They're a yellow. They're a yellow, I should say, they're a yellow white as opposed to a blue white. Make sense? Now, but I drew the Golden State Warriors logo. I also drew the pair of scissors that was sitting on my desk, featuring some shadows and stuff. Quite happy with that. That was pretty cool. I think that turned out sick. And then also I drew my slushie, because Maddie and I went out just this afternoon and got slushies from Sonic. I had a deal on the app, 79-cent medium slushies. Had to capitalize on that. Got me a blue raspberry slushie. Quite good. Here, try it. That's good. I also, actually with this drawing, I got a chance to use not only the red pen, but I used a blue Sharpie for the little blue accent portions. And that worked really well. These pages are thicker, so they don't bleed a ton. They do bleed a little bit because I wasn't thinking about it and was applying a lot of pressure. But with all that said, I mean, it's still, I don't know if you can even see, it doesn't bleed a lot. It bleeds some, to be fair. It is a Sharpie after all, but it didn't bleed a whole ton. Overall, the pages, the writing in the actual book itself is very similar to the video I made last week, the Classic Collection. These, I really like the pink, dude. I want to make a custom cover. I love it. I love it. Dude, these are so beautiful. When comparing things like the pages and how it feels to write in the book, this Moleskine book and this Moleskine book aren't that much different. I really love the style. Like field notes, I don't know if they invented this style, but whoever came up with this style of notebook where it's like is malleable the right word? I don't know. But it's very flexible, very bendy, a little bigger, but not too big. Like, I love this style. I just wish they had more pages. I just wish that I don't know. I feel like all the pocket notebooks I've seen have elements that I really, really like. If I could combine them all of the best traits of all these pocket notebooks that I've seen, if I could combine them all, it would make the perfect notebook. The Cahiers Collection, Moleskine, I love these. These are great. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to use them for, to be entirely honest with you, outside of this video in week 4, but I love these. These are great. Again, I have a hard time recommending these things because I know there's a cheaper option that is essentially just as good if your goal is just to write your ideas down. Because to me, it's just like camera gear and really a lot of other things, is you don't need super fancy. You just need good enough to do the job. Overall, really dig these notebooks. If these were, let me put it this way, if these cost the same as my other pocket notebooks, I'd probably get these. If you enjoyed this one, let me know in the comments. Stay tuned for next week, because next week we're going to be looking at the field notes, and these have the graph, the lines, and plain paper. So there's actually 3 different notebooks in one that we're going to be looking at next week. So stay tuned for that. And if you're interested, you can join the Patreon for $3 a month. And as of the time this video is coming out, you can see that video. That video is out on Patreon right now. So if you're interested, check it out. And if not, that's totally okay. Stay tuned for next week. Field notes, that's what we're doing. So with all that said, thank you guys for watching this one, and I'll see you guys next time.